Stream. What up, Fight World? Your boy Ego. The Vampire Stream. I told you we're gonna close this month with a bang. Close this year with a bang. I got my tea. Look at my America cup. I know y'all jealous. I steeped my tea for about 7 to 13 minutes on the Vampire Stream. He said, man, I thought my screen was broke. Vampires need sleep too. Oh yeah, that's right. Listen, let's jump right into it. Smash the like button. We working. Now, the Vampire Stream. A lot of people talking about this Anthony Joshua first take because it's the first real major interview that he's done kind of regarding everything. Now, he called himself calling out Deontay Wilder. Aaron, what up? I wasn't convinced with the call out. I don't think it was a strong call out because one, he was looking all shifty eyed, looking at Max, looking at the camera, looking at Max, looking at the camera. But, beyond just the typical body language, the reason why it wasn't a good call out to me was because he didn't really sound clear. He says, I don't know what else I could say to make people believe, but I'll fight Wilder. I'll fight anybody. Like, people don't even want to hear you, like, at this point, people don't want to hear you say that extra shit. You know what I'm saying? They want to hear you say, I'll fight Wilder. I'll fight Tyson Fury. It's good. Phone up. It's like literally every single time he would, suggest like, hey, I want to fight him. It always had like a clause attached to it. Hey, I want to fight him. But, that's how the whole interview was like, I want to fight him, but I'll fight anybody. People don't care about anybody. People want to see you fight Wilder or Tyson Fury, where he'd be like, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready right now. I want to fight Deontay Wilder, but I'll fight anybody. Wilder, Fury, all of them guys that can get it, but I don't want to fight Fury. He don't have a belt. That's kind of confusing. You just said I'll fight both of them, and then you said you don't want to fight Fury because he lacks a belt. But if you don't fight Wilder, any other opponent, seeing how you and Wilder are the only guys in the division with belts, then guess what? That means unless you fight Wilder next, your opponent will not have a real belt. You know what I'm saying? So that kind of limits your opponent selection exponentially, where he would say, I want to fight Wilder, but he has to be realistic, no fantasy. I deal with reality, no fantasy contracts. Like, what are you talking about, bro? So to me, it's like you're almost creating a problem that isn't there. You dealt with this man and his team for, 4 or 5 months earlier this year, and going back and forth, having Barry Hearns and Shelly Finkel meeting up in New York. Did y'all get anywhere? Why do you think it's still going to be a problem? Wilder just fought a tough Tyson Fury. It's like you have a good indication of where every guy's at. So, I really feel like the bottom line is this. Joshua, he's in the driver's seat. If he wanted to fight, he probably would have made some different moves. Like go to First Take or do public interviews, just be seen in the public, clamoring for the winner before the outcome. But he didn't do that. He didn't go to the fight. He made it a point to let the world know he wasn't watching the fight in real time, whether it was true or not. And he did it, he waited till we had an outcome. And that's like me saying, I know something was going to happen on a fight prediction after the fight. Anybody can do that. Anybody can watch a fight and say, man, I knew Marquez was going to knock Pacquiao out in the fourth fight. But nobody wants to hear that unless you have receipts of you dropping that prediction before it happened. You get what I'm saying? The Vampire Street. You know, why is it a rush to come to America for Canelo's fight? Why is it a rush to get on American airwaves to call him out after both guys say they want to go get a rematch? Shout out to Is Cursor. I appreciate you. You know, so to me, as far as I'm concerned, you know, based on that with other things in the past, all of this is damage control, and it actually looks worse because, like I said, you could have done all this. Like, you know, it reminds me of when I was a kid. Let's say I'm a little kid, and me and my sister got in an argument, and I hit her, like, you know, kicked her or some shit, right? And then I got told on or whatever. You know, I got told on, and then my mom makes me apologize. Am I apologizing because that's what I sincerely wanted to do, or am I apologizing because my mom's making me? You know, no, I'm sorry. You know how kids do, and that's what it feels like with Anthony Joshua. You're doing all that. Like, see, the bottom line is this: people wanted to see Joshua proactive. Do you get what I'm saying? They want to see him proactive. They wanted to see the stuff he's doing now. They wanted to see you take all of these steps on your own. You know, before, you know, the fight was a controversial draw. Before Wilder did a conference call after the fight saying he's fighting Fury. That's his main priority. You know, and Showtime was backing that before the WBC sanction. He didn't do any of this before. So as far as I'm concerned, you know, you missed the deadline, because then that would have showed that it was sincere, you know, or it would have did a better job of showing that it was sincere. That would have showed that it's genuine. But for you to wait till guys are like tied up in negotiations and then try to give them an ultimatum, that's, you know, that's lame. You can't do that, you know, and expect to be taken serious. You get what I'm saying? Like, it makes no sense. It makes no sense for you to have waited, especially when you're the A side. You're the A side. Smash the like button, y'all. You're the A side. You can, you know, command this and, you know, set up a meeting, get to the bottom of it. You know, you turned down $50 million. Like, when is Joshua going to grab the bull by the horns? You know? And see, this is what I'm saying with Team Joshua. They seem kind of pompous in the regard of, like, they want to be so prideful and stubborn. It appears to me they want to be so prideful and stubborn. They don't want to look like someone else is telling them what to do or forcing their hand, you know, or, you know, pressuring them. But it's a fine line, because you got to make it, you know, look smooth. Like, it just, like, there's a time to be prideful and a time to swallow your pride. I guess that's a good way to put it. You know, you purposely taking a stand to not go because you don't want to help the promotion, you know, of Wilder Fury. So you're purposely not going to go. That doesn't help you either. You know, you should want Wilder and Fury to do well, because the better that fight did, the more clout and credit you would get for beating one of them, since you want to fight them so bad. Why would you want to sabotage their fight? You know, this is still about boxing. It's still about the heavyweight division. Why would you want to sabotage their fight or not lend, you know, your image or, you know, likeness by being ringside just to not promote it, you know, just so you don't help it in any way. But in turn, you say you want to fight the winner. You know, you say you want to fight them. Come on. It doesn't make sense, you know. And what he did on First Take made it look worse to me, because it looks all scripted and it looks all like, hey, we can see where you're, like, the whole goal is to make it look like it's, you know, like James Bond. James Bond's an alpha male, like, throughout from Hollywood. When James Bond, he'll be at a restaurant, then he'll, you know, go into the kitchen and get in a fight with 5 guys. And then, like, after he kills them or beats them up, fix his collar and then walk back out to his date, with not a bead of sweat on him, and then just finish his date, knowing he just got attacked by 5 guys in the kitchen, So what Joshua and Eddie Hearns and them and Barry Hearns are doing is like a botched robbery. It just looks all over the place, looks inconsistent. They're leaving a ton of clues. They're leaving fingerprints, semen, DNA. They leave it, it's like a forensic detectives field day. They're not making a clean getaway. Everyone can pinpoint, put it this way. I'm no better than anyone else. I'm not, psychic or anything like that. How am I predicting what's going to happen before it happens? Shout out to It's Cursor. You know what I'm saying? He's going to fight Povetkin in September. He fights Povetkin in September. Everything. And I know I'm one of the first, but, there's others. There's other people. There's other people saying the same shit. Okay, he wants to fight Dillian White, Derek Chisora. I've been saying this for months. And as we draw closer, it's looking more and more like Wilder Fury 2, which Joshua would probably end up fighting the winner of that, which is why he's going to be ringside. Which is why he doesn't mind his likeness and his face and, and helping promote that, because that's who he's probably going to fight. Where they think they're being smooth and suave about it, but it's not. Just a bad look for AJ, I'm trying to tell y'all. You got Joe Rogan. And see, this is what happens. Everybody loves Joe Rogan until he says something you don't want. Then they're like, people are like, yeah, you listen here, you bald-headed motherfucker. Now they mad at Rogan. First it was the black channels. Oh, the black channel. Now it's you mad at bald people, Just face it. Most of the world sees what's going on. Except for the people who are in denial. Check for consistency. No, now here's the other thing. This is what the Vampire Stream. I'm trying to tell y'all. This is what they're trying to do. This is what Eddie Hearn's trying to do. This is what AJ's trying to do. Now they're trying to, because they know it's already, it's not rocket science. It's already been stated from the people involved in making, basically the people that would make a rematch, that they're trying to rematch. Lou DiBella, Steven Espinoza, Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder. They were all on the conference call. I was on the call. And they were like, yeah, a rematch is going to be so much bigger. The first event was so much fun. And, and Wilder was like, yeah, since there's doubts in people's mind, if I won, if he won, if it was down the middle, I want to rematch him. They made it abundantly clear that's what they were pushing for. The WBC says, we're stepping out of the way. You guys, if you can come to agreement, you guys can do it. We'll sanction an immediate rematch. That was a fun fight. Tyson Fury, he's working out on his Instagram. And then he called out Bronze Bomber. Frank Warren did an interview with IFL and said, hey, we might try to stage it on the same day, April 13th. So the bottom line is everybody who's somebody regarding that fight being made, minus Al Heyman, who doesn't do any interviews, has said that they're on board to trying to negotiate the fight. Frank Warren even said they're going to start negotiations next week, right? So why would Joshua wait all the way until all of this stuff is public knowledge, to go on record, First Take or a major, program to call out Wilder? That's horrible. This is equivalent of when Wilder said, I'll come to the UK for the unification between Joshua and Joseph Parker. And I'm going to get in the ring and I want to confront Joshua and, tell him if he wins, I want to, challenge him to a fight. Joshua got wind of this and said, no, you can't get in the ring. We're not going to allow that. We have security that, they're not going to allow for that. You can't get in my ring. Eddie Hearn did an interview and he said, yeah, Joshua's right. This is not Wilder's moment or something. He co-signed it. So Wilder was like, man, fuck that. I'll watch it from the States. I'll watch it at home. Then afterwards, Joshua did an interview with IFL or whatever, or somebody. I forgot who it was off the top of my head, but we can research it if it's that serious. And Joshua said, oh, I didn't say he couldn't come in. I said he had to be invited in by me. You can't just jump in the ring. But you waited until he canceled the trip to say that. Had you not said anything, he had every intentions of going. And if you were going to allow him to come into the ring, then why'd you even make a fuss by saying, no, you can't get in the ring? These things don't make sense, I can't believe that, I know these people, like the man fans, I know they know what's up. They just don't want to admit it because there's no way you can't see these 1,000 points that new media is bringing up. You literally waited until he said, I'm not coming to the Joseph Parker fight since y'all don't want to let me in the ring. He publicly said that in an interview with ESPN or something or whoever. And then that's when you say, oh, he could have gotten the ring, but after I called him in the ring. Same thing here. You could have you fought Povetkin in September. We've known about Wilder Fury for months. You could have went on First Take to stake your claim for April 13th because the date has been booked. April 13th date, we've known about that since we've known about Povetkin. So let's say about September, because ever since the Povetkin fight, we knew it was a 2 Wembley deal, right? Okay, Jordan 90, you're in the hot seat. It says you are, you spelled it wrong. But anyway, you're just bitter to all British fighters. It's bullshit. Okay, so what did I say to British fighters? What have I said bad about Josh Kelly? What have I said about Tyson Fury? So yeah, we're just Jordan. We'll see if you're like Michael Jordan. We'll see if you're the greatest. How am I British? What did I say about Lennox Lewis, Joe Kawasaki? What am I British bitter for? What have I said about Carl Frampton, Josh Warrington, Anthony Yarde, Daniel Dubois? No, let him explain it. He says, you're just bitter to all British fighters. Okay, so I named a ton of British fighters. So what have I said about any of them? You said all British fighters. So what did I say? What have I said about all British fighters? What I said about Anthony Yarde, Josh Kelly, Carl Frampton, Tyson Fury, Josh Warrington. We're waiting. Oh my God, this is so fun. I love it. Chasmine said we got an emotional groupie in the comment, guys. They know they can't, they know they can't fuck with me. I don't know why they even try. You can't prove what you're saying because you're lying. You see, he went to sleep like AJ up for a Wilder Fury fight. What have I said? You said I'm hating and mad at all British fighters. So what have I said about any of them? We're talking about AJ. I didn't say nothing about anybody else. You got 10 seconds, my guy. Eight seconds. What I say about British fighters? See? This is what they do. You're racist. Okay, what I say about anybody's race? Oh, you hate British fighters. Okay, what have I said about any British fighter? What have I said about Amir Khan, Kell Brook? Like, what are you talking about? 4 seconds. Damn, Jordan. Damn. 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second. Gotta go. This is the story. This is what they do. You're just bitter at British fighters, and then I ask you to explain, and then they don't show up. Waste of time. So we continue. Blocked. and we move on. See, I told you I perfected this game because I've been in the game for so long. I know how they act. I know what they do. All these man fans. So we found ways against it. Live stream for one. It's a live. So I'm talking to you live in the flesh. This is me, right here, right now. So they can't get away. The hot seat was the best invention. It was the best invention for these live streams because it forces them to think Johnny on the spot to prove what they just said. And you see how they just dip out, and they never to be heard of again, and they just get blocked. So that's fine. I'm good with that. He talking about I hate all British fighters. I'm bitter, but I ain't said nothing about nobody else. I ain't said nothing about Derek Chisora. I ain't said nothing about Dillian White, But I'm bitter at all British fighters. Don't work like that, And if it does, then just tell me what I said. It's that simple. Anywho, yeah, just a bad. I see. Ashad is very right. He said haters don't think you'll respond to them live. That's what I'm saying because I came up with the hot seat. So they think it's just gonna leave a comment and stain my name. I'm not letting you just. I work hard. My dad gave me this name. You know what I'm saying? Like I work hard for my name. I actually care about my surname. I'm not gonna let you just slander and say a bunch of bullshit. And fuck up my family name. In reality, this has nothing to do with the UK or British fighters as a whole. This has something to do with one man and his team and the decisions they're making. And if you have proof of anything else, then I would love to hear it. Smash the like button. But yeah, Joshua don't get a pass because he waited. You can't wait till the outcome. That's like, let's say the dude that plays Aquaman. He looked like a pretty big dude. Jason Momoa. Say me and my friends are at a club and they're about to fight him, and we're about to get into it with him, and he's about to swing, and my friend end up swinging on him. I'm scared. I'm too scared to swing, and then my friend swing and then knock him out. And then I kick him while he's on the ground. Like, now that he's already done the work, I'm like, it's not how that works. That's what Joshua did. You waited. You didn't do anything proactive to make the fight. You knew you had Wembley blocked from April 13th. You tried to offer Wilder, bullshit money, flat rates and all types of shit, and just listen. Like, they're drowning right now. Team AJ is drowning with what they're saying because it doesn't make sense. They said they were trying to offer Wilder a better deal in a percentage split before he even fought Tyson Fury. But, months before that or whenever before that, they said, you get what you get. You already signed up for this. You said it. So we're just going to send you a contract with the April 13th date. You said you would already accept this. So why did you try to switch it? And why are you now saying the offer has a percentage split and a rematch clause? Why the sudden change? At first they were trying to say Wilder gets what he gets and he already signed up for 15 million. And the dumbass fans that were co-signing that, they're like, yeah, you signed a contract, big boy. You already agreed to 15 million. But then in later interviews, Eddie Hearn says we offered him a percentage split and a rematch clause. And then they did this before the Tyson Fury fight, before the outcome. So why change it? You said that you were only going to give it, he had to take the offer, take it or leave it. So why did you switch it? And they're playing a deadly game because, like, I like Dillian White, but he's been hurt in recent fights, a few of them. Joshua hurt him. He got hurt badly in the Joseph Parker fight, and had there been another round, who knows what had happened, but he was kind of saved by the bell in that 12th round. Got knocked down. He got hurt in the Robert Helenius fight. He's a warrior, and he'll go to war and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, he's like, is he the most is he the most elite guy? And now he's about to go in there with the person that arguably beat him. I thought Chisora beat him in the first fight. I thought Chisora beat him in the first fight. So that could, that's gonna, if Chisora wins, that's gonna fuck up their whole plan. Because they want Dillian White because they already have history. AJ and Dillian White already have history. And I think Chisora and AJ are more friends. I'm not saying they wouldn't fight, but I think they're more friends than him and Dillian White. So they want to at least, if they have to try to use Wembley, they want at least the story that has some tension and a past fight attached. If Chisora wins, wow, that's gonna be bad. So, they're playing. That's what happens when you try to play Geppetto. You try to puppeteer these matches instead of just, getting your fighter promoted right and, prepare them the best for the best opportunities. You put them in there, and then see what happens. It's only so long. That's why, that's why I firmly believe Luis Ortiz is not in this equation. They can say he's old and all that, but how old is Chisora? It's not like he's some spring chicken. So, at best, Luis Ortiz is a couple years older than Chisora. But Chisora has more mileage on him based on how he fights. So if Dillian White can fight a guy who's been knocked out a couple of times, and been through more, he has more mileage because he's his style and who he's fought and all that. Then why can't he fight Luis Ortiz? Why does Joshua automatically have to fight if he can't get Wilder, Tyson Fury, automatically fight Dillian White, Chisora winner? Why? Why can't he fight Luis Ortiz? Then they're going to try to, sell you some bullshit about, oh, it's two British guys and, AJ has history with Dillian White. Nobody cares, bro. And like I said, the more you guys keep using these bullshit excuses, the more DAZN will fail. Because even if these fights are big in the UK, you guys got to get Sky Sports. I hope you guys understand that. Joshua Dillian White, that's a Sky Sports deal in the UK. So if you keep making these domestic fights that aren't like worldwide, then how can you expect to appeal to the market in which you're pitching it to? You guys want DAZN to fail. You want DAZN to fail. Because I'm telling you, if you keep trying to pitch something to Americans who are already like, gas prices be high, cost of living is high, it's a different market. You know what I'm saying? And if you keep pitching shit, people already hate breaking bread anyway in America. I'm trying to tell you how this shit works. So if you keep pitching these non-American fights that have non-American real interest, then it's not going to do what you expected. You're going to have to pacify and appease American fans with an app called DAZN that you are pitching to Americans. It's that simple. Canelo and Rocky Fielding, you guys in the UK, you might love that because you love Rocky Fielding. But motherfuckers in America aren't really talking about it. Even if they like Canelo, they're like, why is he fighting this dude? Who is that? You guys are going to be you guys are going to be the ones responsible. And some of you motherfuckers are so dumb you can't even see it. You can't even see it. How? Just explain to it. This is not hate. This is not me being angry or whatever you guys think is going on. Explain to me how you're going to keep making UK type of fights, like fights that they make in the UK, ongoing. Okay, put it this way. Why is Carl Frampton versus Josh Warrington not happening in at the Barclays? Carl Frampton, to my knowledge, is advised by Al Heyman and with Frank Warren. Why don't they put it at the Barclays? No, just answer. Hear me out. Listen, just answer the simple question. Why don't they put Carl Frampton versus Josh Warrington at the Barclays? Why don't they? Why is Anthony Joshua, if he fights Dillian White in a rematch, why don't they do that, in Las Vegas? Kitty Tumbo, exactly, because nobody cares. Because it's a different market, and you're going to try to put it in the market you feel, just like Golden Boy. They put Canelo, nobody was really, like, Americans didn't really give a fuck about Canelo versus Liam Smith, but at least Golden Boy put it in an area with a dense Hispanic population, a lot of Mexican fans. I'm not saying just Mexican fans in Texas, but there are a lot of Mexican Texas fans, and they don't always get the opportunity to see Canelo. So, that's why they put it there. They didn't put, just why do you think they took Triple G versus Vanes Matarosa out of Vegas? After Canelo failed his drug test, why did Triple G fight at the StubHub? Because the StubHub is much smaller than the T-Mobile, and they know they ain't filling out a fucking T-Mobile Vegas tourist city with a fight like Gennady Golovkin and no damn Vanes Matarosa coming off a layoff, moving up in weight. So they put in the StubHub, cheaper tickets, smaller venue, etc. It's that simple. So if the promoters have enough wherewithal to try to stage these fights in areas they think will get the most traffic, like Alex Cicero, Maurice Hooker, that happened in OKC, where Cicero is from. Ray Beltran versus Jose Pedraza, that happened in Arizona, and that's Ray Beltran's second home. He's from Mexico, I believe, but his second home is AZ. That's why they put it there. So if the promoters know that much of the puzzle, hey, let me try to put these, I think Gilberto Zurdo Ramirez and Jesse Hart today, they're fighting, I think, in Corpus Christi, Texas. A lot of Mexicans there, right? It's only for Salinas. You know why? Because Zurdo Ramirez, that's a good sellable location. The first fight was a good fight. There's a lot of Mexican fans. It's in Texas. A lot of just Texas has a lot of boxing fans in general. That's why. So, like I said, if promoters have that much of the puzzle, putting a Polish fighter in New York or a Polish fighter in Chicago where there's a lot of Polish people, Andres Fafara fought Joe Smith Jr. in Chicago. There's a lot of Polish people in Chicago, right? Lomachenko be in New York. Sometimes, there's a good Ukraine, there's a lot of Irish people in New York. That's why Conor McGregor, they put some Conor fights there. Eddie Alvarez and shit. It's simple. So once again, I question to you, this is not hate. How is DAZN going to succeed in America by making Canelo versus somebody that I'm not saying you have to be from America, but you at least, for the big fights, in the fights that you expect people to really catch on, you have to, even if you don't fight an American, you have to at least fight somebody that resonates with the American public. You know what I'm saying? Like that American fans are privy to. American fans don't know anything about Rocky Fielding. I'm not saying nobody, but who does? Who was just sitting around after Canelo beat Triple G saying, man, Canelo should move up to 68 and fight Rocky Fielding. I'll give anybody $100 right now if you show me a video dated before the fight was announced where they had the fantasy match of Canelo versus Rocky Fielding at 168. Who was asking for that? I'll give you $100 PayPal right now if you show me a video post, predated, that was where someone was asking for that. He said they won't find a video. Exactly. I know. But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's because nobody was really checking for that. Nobody, some people will watch it. I'm going to watch it. I'm a reporter. I watch it, I'll watch it. But I'm talking about the masses. I watch more boxing than, the average person anyway, because this is my job. So I watch some of the fights that like on ESPN or something that someone else might not, like Brian Jennings' last fight. Some shit that Atlantic City that the average person might not have watched. So, Maurice Hooker, Alex Acedo. I'm watching shit like that. Now everyone's watching those types of fights. This is what I do for a living. But I'm just talking about the masses. So again, I don't know if you notice a pattern, but DAZN, a lot of their biggest fights have nothing to do with Americans at all. And then the fights, tell me a big American fight that like clearly Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence would be a big American fight. Name a fight that's even anywhere near that. Danny Garcia, Sean Porter, anything. Name any DAZN fight that they've had since they've started that you know about or that you heard is probably going to happen that is big for America. The region where they're pitching DAZN, the app to. Name one fight. I'm talking about one fight. The probably the biggest fight is Billy Joe Saunders versus Demetrius Andrade, and it didn't happen. But it was going to happen in America. But that was probably the biggest one. Name one fight. That's all I'm asking y'all. Kitty Tumbo said crickets. That's what I'm saying. Khan versus Brook, that's still a domestic fight, but both guys have at least, they've been introduced to the American public. So yeah, that'll be a solid fight, but realistically, it should have happened years ago. You get what I'm saying? But that would be a fight that at least Americans know who the fuck these people are. By and large, people know Amir Khan. He fought Canelo. He fought, called out Floyd. Blah blah blah. They know Kell Brook. He fought Errol Spence. Fought Triple G. So at least people know who they are. Name one fight that you think is big that really involves an American fight. American fighters. One. Y'all can't name one. Y'all like Danny Garcia, Sean Porter. That's a big fight. Danny Garcia, Keith Thurman. That's a big fight. Errol Spence versus Keith Thurman. Mikey Garcia versus Spence. These are big fights in America. Broner versus Pacquiao. You can't name one DAZN fight? One? That's what I'm saying. Like, so that DAZN, like I said, we'll see what they do. They're new. We'll see. But they got to step that up because they're pitching these fights to Americans. Americans are expected to buy it. The UK is not. You can't even get if you live in the UK, you can't even download DAZN from what I heard. But Andre versus Canelo, who said that's gonna happen? So that's just a random shot in the dark. I haven't heard Canelo say anything about Andre's name ever. Name one. I'm asking. That's what I'm saying. DAZN, they should realistically. That's what I'm saying. People be hustling crazy. DAZN got all this money. They should have tried to link up with Al Heyman. You're pitching a product. You're pitching a product to America, but you're entrusting a UK promoter whose stable is primarily the UK stars and doesn't really have an American stable. And even though you have money to throw around, it's not as easy because, first of all, you can't lure Terrence Crawford, who just re-upped with with Top Rank. He's under contract. Lomachenko's under contract. So you can't, that's illegal to snatch somebody's fighter who's already under contract, right? So, Al Heyman is probably the only advisor who has guys who don't have an actual, aren't attached to an actual promoter. But some are, like Tank Davis is with Mayweather Promotions. Badu Jack is with Mayweather Promotions. So that's what I'm saying. DAZN, to me, they're kind of hustling backwards because, if DAZN was in the UK, then I can understand. That makes more sense. If DAZN was available in the UK, because a lot of these fights, Tony Bellew, Usyk, Canelo Fielding, that would, cater to them. But the UK got to buy pay-per-views for it. You guys can't name one. That's what I'm saying. You don't have no major American promoter. Even Golden Boy. Golden Boy, they're cool, but they don't have that big of a stable. We knew that before Canelo went over to DAZN. Golden Boy is putting on Toriano Johnson, who got knocked out by Danny Jacobs' last opponent, Sergey Derevyanchenko, who got knocked out by Curtis Stevens, right? And David Lemieux is fighting him. You know, it's probably going to be a war. That's cool. Saddam Ali is fighting Mauricio Herrera. I haven't even seen Mauricio Herrera. He arguably beat Danny Garcia. I thought he did beat Danny Garcia. I thought he beat Jose Benavidez, but this was years ago. You know, last time I checked, Mauricio Herrera, I think, fought Jesus Soto Caras or some shit who just retired. So DAZN is not, you know, they're not bringing fights that really appeal to Americans. Like me, I'm different because, like I said, I watch more boxing and I report on it for you guys. But you got to encourage these American fight fans to pay $9.99 a month. So Canelo versus Rocky Fielding, who's that? I never heard of him. But they've heard of Charlo. You know what I'm saying? They heard of Jacobs. They heard of Andrade, but he's not fighting them. You know, they heard of Golovkin, but, you know, he's fighting for Rocky Fielding. AJ, you know, people are mad he's not fighting our American champ, Deontay Wilder. He fought Povetkin, a guy from Russia. Tony Bellew Usyk, good fight, but he's fighting, you know, in Manchester. Americans, you know, a lot of people can't travel to the UK and from America. Derek Chisora, Dillian White. These are all like domestic type of fights. It's not about if you heard of Rocky, it's how many fights have you watched. You know, break down it. Oh, wow. He said, I heard of Rocky Balboa. Wow. Y'all trolling. DAZN is trash. Their main events are basically undercards. Wow. Yeah, I thought Mauricio Herrera beat Garcia, but, you know. I'm never, you petty as fuck. He said, Business Brain said, I'm never buying anything DAZN because I'll be sleepy like AJ. See, and that's the other thing. AJ rubbing people the wrong way, but then you trying to sell his fights to America. I mean, this whole thing is not a good look, you know? So they're going to have to find a way to resonate with the American public. Simply put, you know, Gerald Miller, right? He looks like, you know, he's ready for a title shot soon, but he just fought Thomas Adamak, who is retired. Then he fought Dogban Dinu. And then I heard they're going to have him fight Trevor Bryan. None of these are big like fights that resonate with Americans that catapult him into like the category where, you know, at least American fans are going to be like, okay, wow, he can really challenge Wilder, despite if he can or can't. The fights you're giving him. See, Eddie Hearn's always talking about how people are inactive and stuff. That's cool. You're keeping him active, but you're not making him a star like that. You know, that's going to be a slow pace to get a star, to be a star, fighting all these guys that nobody knows. Honestly, who was checking for Dogban Dinu prior to that? And that was the main event, bro. That was the main event fight. Who's heard of Trevor Bryan? Like, that's literally, like, this is literally who they're trying to put the fight on with. I know Gerald Miller, but I don't know Trevor Bryan. I really don't. So yeah, he's been active, but you know, is that gonna give American fight fans the confidence that he can take on AJ if he beats Trevor Bryan? You know, if anything, you're keeping him active, but you're also keeping him ill prepared because he can't really test his skill. Like that, beating a guy like Trevor Bryan, who I don't, you know, maybe he's great, I don't know, but I haven't heard of him. So I feel like if he's the nicest out, I probably would have heard of him. Do you get what I'm saying? How's that prepare you for AJ? You get what I'm saying? Demetrius Andrade, who they're trying to do a card with Demetrius Andrade, right? in January with Gerald Miller versus Trevor Bryan. Who can Andrade fight in January 16th, mid-January? Who? Be realistic. Canelo's fighting December 15th, so he's not going to come around and turn around and fight a guy like Andrade in mid-January. That's less than a month away. So it's not going to be Canelo. Triple G had an opportunity to fight Andrade Cinco de Mayo when Canelo failed his drug test, and he ended up fighting Vanes Martirosyan. So, you know, me being an educated person, taking an educated guess, I'm pretty sure Triple G coming off a loss to Canelo with no belt and no obligation is probably not going to fight Andrade in January, especially when he wants a Canelo trilogy and, you know, Andrade could play spoiler. Charlos are fighting December 22nd on a different network on Fox. So they're not going to be able to have less than a month turnaround, you know, to come back and fight Andrade. So what is this card you're going to put? Billy Joe Saunders is fighting on December 22nd in the UK. Plus he's banned from fighting in the US because he failed a drug test. Who is he going to fight? Tell me who Andrade could fight. The winner of David Lemieux versus Toriano Johnson, Gabe Rosado, Luis Cuba Arias. Like, those are the only guys I can even think of that might be free by that time. And again, like I thought Gabe Rosado beat Luis Cuba Arias, but they said it was a draw, I think. So, you know, is that a fight that people want to see the new champion Andrade against? You know, either guy coming off a draw. And it's not like a Wilder Fury draw. It's two guys who are inactive coming off a draw. So who's Andrade gonna realistically fight? Just be honest. You know, one of these names we don't know from like Uzbekistan or something. Do you get what I'm saying? So this is what, to me, lacking a struggle, this is what DAZN is faced with right now. Name the compelling fights that, you know, really Americans will get behind. Raymond Alvarez versus Brandon Rios, who is coming off of a loss. Hey, Kitty Tumble out of pocket. I'm just being real. I'm trying to reason this out. Derevyanchenko is the only one that might be able to fight in January. He's coming off a loss too, so it won't make much noise. See, and that's the thing. That, like, Derevyanchenko is probably a tough fight. You know, it's a good, you can compare it to Danny Jacobs, but he's coming off a loss, which I think he did lose. You know, Andre versus Madge Selesky, who Jacobs already beat. You know, these fights, you know, I just don't see, like, is that a New York main event for you? You know, like I said, it's cool. It's cool Andre would be active, but I just don't really see who he's going to fight. Andre versus Hugo Centeno. You know, I don't think he's come back from the Charlo knockout. I don't think he's had a return fight. So, like I said, this is what DAZN's faced with. Everybody was saying Showtime's going out of business and stuff, jumping the gun, but it's deeper than that. You gotta put on the type of matches that destroy your comp before any of that happens. And I just haven't seen so far. Like Canelo, this doesn't even feel like a fight week. You know, Canelo's about to weigh in a couple of hours, you know, and it doesn't feel like that. So I'm just being real with y'all. They have to find a way to connect with the American public. Like I said, I'm telling you, you guys can get mad all you want. Caleb Plant Uzcategui, Broner Pacquiao, Mikey versus Spence, the return of Keith Thurman versus Josecito, the Charlo brothers fighting on the same card. I feel like all these resonate with Americans much more than Gerald Miller versus Trevor Bryan. Oh yeah, Derevyanchenko. See, Al Heyman got the game in a Cobra Clutch. Derevchenko is with Lou DiBella. So, either way, even if that would happen with Andrade, they would have to go through the god, Al Heyman. See, people always, call names and say, oh, you just love PBC and just bullshit, but they don't prove you wrong. They're not proving what I'm saying wrong. I'm just trying to reason it out and be as honest as possible with y'all. So, like I said, the matchups, a lot of the matchups I've seen on DAZN, these are the types of matchups that Eddie Hearn was already making in Matchroom. Denis Lebedev versus, like, who else? Zing Zhao or so, just somebody that you haven't heard of from a different region. And the reason I'm stressing Americans so much is because I know the American market, and this is who you're pitching DAZN to. If you live in America, you can download DAZN. If you live in Australia and UK, you cannot. Someone said DAZNs are the Phoenix Suns. Hey, you out of pocket, bro. Okay, Daniel Roman, who's he gonna fight? That brings out Americans in droves. Daniel Roman. Usyk just terrorized the division. So if he stays at cruiserweight, they got a World Boxing Super Series tournament. Who's he gonna fight? Just be real. Who can Usyk fight? Kitty Tumble said, "Who is Daniel Roman?" I'm done. See, this is out of pocket. He fought on the Spence Ocampo undercard. Wow, y'all out of control right now. Like I said, if I'm lying, please explain to me what you play matchmaker. That's all I'm asking y'all to do. Play matchmaker. You tell me the fights. The DAZN gonna have all their fights in Kansas City in these barns and shit, because they're not gonna be able to. The facility costs aren't gonna be worth it. They're gonna have to be in like little obscure places unless they get some fights in the cards. Like, I'm really trying to think who else is signed to DAZN. Kaliz, what's up? Who else is signed to DAZN? We went over Andrade, Gerald Miller. Oh, and here's the kicker. See, I'm trying to hip y'all to the business. I swear y'all be thinking that I'm saying something like to bully or pick on. Here's another thing. DAZN keeps signing these people that are already promoted, some of them. So it's a co-promotional thing. Anytime it's co-promotional, that means you have to split the pie. Usyk, I believe, is with K2, right? K2 Promotions. So the profits don't go all to DAZN because they got to split it with K2, the promoter he's always had, that he had before DAZN came out, a couple months ago. Tevin Farmer's with Lou DiBella. Daniel Roman is with Thompson Boxing. Gerald Miller is with Salido Promotions or some shit, right? So all these are co-promotional things. This is where DAZN's business model, no pay-per-view. It sounds great, but this just hear me out. I don't know if you guys remember Eddie Hearns. He was making it sound like, oh yeah, pay-per-view, it's going to be done in America, boom, boom, boom. And hey, I'm not saying you have to sign to DAZN. We could do a per fight deal with some guys. Some guys we want to keep. Remember him saying that? But Eddie Hearn was saying, we could just sign some fighters on a case by case basis. We have the money for it. Who remembers Eddie Hearn saying that? Who remembers Eddie Hearn saying that? He said that it doesn't have to be a long term for everybody, a long term deal. We have the money, and we can sign you per fight if we want. Who remembers him saying that? Anthony Johnson. That name, though. Okay. Here's the problem with that. I don't listen to a word that comes out of that man's mouth. Hey, you out of pocket. No, listen. He's right. They can sign fighters on a case-by-case basis. Here's the problem. They put Clarissa Shields. Like, you guys explain this from I'm just telling y'all the business, and you tell me how this benefits them and how it works and all that. Okay. Eddie Hearn was right. They can't sign fighters for a short term. They got the money and then it puts you on a card, but you're not their exclusive fighter, right? That's what he said. He's right. So, peep this. Clarissa Shields, 2-time Olympic gold medalist, they did that with her. You remember she was on the card with Gerald Miller, the Barnyard, the Barnyard Boogie. She was on that card in Kansas, right? Gerald Miller with Dogman or whatever, Dogman Dinu, Gabe Rosado, Luis Cuba Arias, Raymond Alvarez, Brandon Rios. Clarissa Shields was on that card. So, they wanted her on the card. Here's the problem. After that card, she won, against Hannah or whatever the girl's name was, right? Stankin Rankin, right? She won on that card. The problem with that is this. HBO just did their final card, with Cecilia Brækhus. It was supposed to have Chocolatito on it, blah, blah, blah. Clarissa Shields fought on that card as well. Right? So, Clarissa Shields is signed with Salida Promotions. She was on a DAZN card, so obviously they had to pay her, Then she went to an HBO card, so she got paid there. And guess what? Before all of this, she was supposed to fight Christina Hammer, which is a pretty big fight in women's boxing. Christina Hammer, she looked kind of cute and all that. A lot of people, she has a pretty decent following, I think. So that's a good fight. It's been something they've been brewing. Fight was announced. I got the email from Showtime. It was going to be on Showtime Boxing, right? But Christina Hammer fell ill, right? Christina Hammer got sick or some shit, so the fight got canceled. So Clarissa Shields, in the meantime, she's not going to stagnate her career, and she was like, tapering down in weights and shit like that. So she wants to stay active. So she's just, making paychecks and fighting. She fought on DAZN card, went to HBO. Here's the kicker. The Christina Hammer, I got an email from Showtime, another one, and they're trying to reschedule that. Guess where? On Showtime. So out of Clarissa Shields, that's one of her bigger fights, and it's going to be on Showtime. So that case-by-case basis, how does that benefit DAZN? Because now Clarissa Shields is about to be in the, probably one of the biggest fights of her career, a big fight for women's boxing, and it's not going to be on DAZN. It's going to be on Showtime, where it was initially scheduled. So how does that benefit DAZN? You just, you paid her, she was on the card, and then she went to HBO, and then now she going to Showtime. Explain to me how that benefits her, how that benefits DAZN. So you basically paid her for a stay busy fight, and then she pieced out, went to HBO, and then she pieced out, and they were going out of business, and she going, her biggest fight out of the 3 is going to be on Showtime. Tell me how, from a business perspective, please break that down, how DAZN would benefit from that. See, the benefit of having a fighter under contract is you have them for X amount of fights, and they're fighting on your cards, like just your cards, and they can't fight on no one else's card without your permission. And even if they do, like when Amir Khan or Danny Jacobs fought Triple G, and Amir Khan fought Canelo, I'm pretty sure Al Heyman still got a cut. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure he got a cut from it. So DAZN's not going to get a cut from Clarissa Shields, to my knowledge. Not going to get a cut for her biggest fight against Christina Hammer, because it was just a once and done, stay busy type of thing. She has her own promoter, Salida Promotions, so they don't own, these promoters don't own the fighter, but you guys get what I'm saying. So break it down how DAZN benefited from that. Please let me know. Is there anybody here? Can you guys hear me? Nobody can hear me? Wow. Is everybody alive? Yeah, but is anyone going to answer me? Yeah, I'm about to get off this stream because it feels like I didn't realize I was talking to myself. Y'all got to show some signs of life. I feel like I'm talking to my... DAZN don't benefit. That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't... That's exactly it. You don't benefit. You just basically had Clarissa Shields, like, enhance your card, did it once and done, paid her for her services, and then she left. So that doesn't, long term, that doesn't help DAZN. Like, okay, for example, PBC has Errol Spence, right? Like, Al Heyman or whatever. So if Al Heyman has Errol Spence for several fights, as Errol Spence does better and better, that benefits Al Heyman because he's getting his cut. But that once and done shit that DAZN was talking about, that Eddie Hearn was talking about, I don't see how that benefits them long term, because Clarissa Shields is able to bounce around, freely with her promoter, Salida Promotion, and she's about to have a big fight next year, and it's going to be on Showtime with Christina Hammer. So I don't see what the gain was from, it's cool. You put her on the card, and she got paid, so it's cool for her. But I just don't see from a business. That's what I'm saying. DAZN can't just keep putting out money, It has to make sense at some point. So I don't understand what to be honest, I don't understand what the vision is with paying people once and done, but then they have their own promoter, and some of them are like bouncing around and free to go to other people, That's like that's like paying Pacquiao to put Manny Pacquiao on my card, on the Ego Promotions card, and then I pay him, and he helps my card one time, and then he has a big fight with Broner and a big fight with Floyd next year, and he's free to just go, and I don't get I don't reap anything of it because I don't have any connection to Pacquiao. He's free to roam around and do whatever he wants. Do you get what I'm saying? Randy Ridley, precisely. He said you're supposed to make more than you spend. That's what I'm saying. And I don't understand the business model. Maybe there's something else that they know about that I don't. But like I said, Clarissa Shields was with Salida Promotions. She was on a DAZN card. Then she went to HBO. And from what I heard, her rematch, or not rematch, but the rescheduling of her match with Christina Hammer, which is a big fight in women's boxing, is not going to be on DAZN. So, in essence, you could have situations where DAZN is spending out some money and helping somebody, get fights, and then they just leave them and then go with their other promoter and then make money wherever on a totally different network. Like, I used to work at Sears, and the thing is, they used to always try to get people credit cards. they used to like check and stand, like managers used to like secretly be standing behind you when you're ringing up people to see if you're offering a Sears MasterCard. The reason being is you want to build customers for life. If somebody opens up a credit card with Sears, they're more than likely to return, because why would you open up a credit card if you don't plan on spending it, or spending, so if you open a Sears card, then that's a good way to build customers for life and get someone to come back. But if Clarissa Shields has her own promoter, then she's on the DAZN card for one fight, then she goes to HBO for one fight, and then she has her biggest fight on Showtime. I don't really see how that benefited DAZN unless her biggest fight was on your network, which it's not. She fought Hannah Rankin or whatever on yours, but her bigger fight and her anticipated fight is going to be on Showtime. So yeah, I never understood what Eddie Hearn, like, I didn't understand. I understood what he said, but I didn't understand how that's going to help DAZN grow. Because let's say I'm the number one Clarissa Shields supporter. Okay, she was on one card, so I have it for 1 month, and then I see her next fights are on HBO and her next fights are on Showtime. Then why do I need DAZN for if she's not a staple fixture, on that platform? Guys like Canelo, that's different. Demetrius Andrade, they're different. They're signed to DAZN. So like Canelo has an obligation. He has certain fights. But some people they have aren't like that. They're free to roam. And I don't see how long term that really benefits DAZN. Would it like so basically, let's say Clarissa Shields, she fought on DAZN. This is just one example. Then she went to HBO and fought on the Cecilia Brækhus card. DAZN had nothing to do with that. So she fought on a K2 card or Tom Loeffler 360 card or whatever, HBO's last card, farewell card. And then now she's going to fight Christina Hammer on Showtime. Let's say she beats Christina Hammer. And let's say Showtime makes Chris Cyborg or something weird. Chris Cyborg beats Amanda Nunes in the UFC, and let's say they can make Clarissa Shields versus Chris Cyborg. That's another big fight for Showtime. So DAZN, they're not getting any of the benefit because they're not her direct promoter, and they don't have, a direct connection to her. They just, okay. Just think about, like, for all my weed smokers or whatever. So let's say you had a weed man, but he don't live in your town. So you just, if he's passing through or something, you can get weed from him. But he's not your direct person that you can always link up with because he lives like 5 hours away or some shit. So you only do business with him whenever. I just don't see how, I don't understand how that works. For Canelo and shit, that works because all of his next 10, 11 fights will be on DAZN. But for people like who could just pop in and pop out, like Clarissa Shields, that's cool. It'll strengthen one card, but then she goes and does her own thing and gets paid elsewhere. And if they have the bigger fights, then I don't understand what that did for you, but that's just me. You could cancel DAZN anytime, yes. It's a month-by-month basis. So, I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. But bottom line, I think DAZN got to, I don't know how long it takes, but they're going to have to start making engaging fights that resonate with American people. Because, who's jazzed off Derek? Americans, are they jazzed off Derek Chisora, Dillian White, AJ versus Dillian White 2? So, everyone was jumping on the, bandwagon saying, oh, yeah, pay-per-view's dead. Eddie Hearn told us pay-per-view was dead. But as an American in America, would you rather watch Mikey Garcia, Errol Spence? Are you more curious about that? or Derek Chisora, Dillian White, Canelo versus Rocky Fielding, or you get what I'm saying? Canelo versus Rocky Fielding or Broner Pacquiao. You know, because not everyone has enough money. I'm gonna watch everything because that's just me and this is my job. But like, not everyone has enough money that they want to invest just for boxing on everything. ESPN Plus, fucking DAZN, YouTube Red, and fucking YouTube TV, cell phone bill, Amazon Prime. Not everyone has unlimited funds like DAZN allegedly has. So we'll see how it plays out. The Vampire Stream. I'm getting out of here. I got to give my voice a rest. Holla at the boy, man. We just working. I told you, we closing the year strong. So just look for me to put out a lot of quality content. Shout out to the new channel members and Patreon. You can join below. Everything helps the movement. I'm just taking it easy because we about to go full throttle. I got a lot of stuff coming, and the haters going to be mad. They don't even know about it. AJ, I said my piece. I just feel like that First Take interview didn't really do him any favors. People want to see the fight, but now you're trying to intrude on Joshua. Joshua's trying to intrude on Fury versus Wilder too. Listen, the more I thought about it, at first I was like, I made the, when I was still in LA covering the fight, I said, you know what, Wilder, it was more sympathy. Wilder fought Luis Ortiz than Tyson Fury, and then I was like, yeah, he deserves a tune-up fight. Same thing with Tyson Fury. He took 2 tune-up fight and then had a tough-ass fight where he died and came back versus Wilder. So I was like, yeah, they should, fight other challenges and then have a rematch. But then I told you guys I changed it. The more I thought about it, they got to do an instant rematch because you don't want anything to happen, What if that war took something out of Tyson Fury and then he lost to someone lesser? Then that ruins the rematch. So, they got to fight. So I don't know what Anthony Joshua was talking about, but, it doesn't make sense for him to pull away. Either way, Wilder would be screwed. And I would rather be screwed. Basically, I think Wilder's screwed worse if he doesn't fight Tyson Fury. Because people who really thought Tyson Fury beat Wilder, they have an easy thing to say where they could be like, oh, see, he didn't want to fight that difficult style again. Even guys like Andre Ward basically said Wilder's not going to want to go through that again. And challenged, kind of challenged if Wilder won't be down to go through that again. So if he just jumps ship and fights Joshua, right, then that's not going to make sense because people would just say he's ducking. If he fights Joshua, there will be a couple AJ man fans who are trying to save face, and they're going to be like, oh, you see, if he fights Fury, there are going to be a couple of AJ man fans who are going to be like, oh, see, he didn't want his legacy. Listen, I see the narrative that Eddie Hearns is trying to spin and Anthony Joshua, and it sounds horrific. Eddie Hearns is talking about, oh, Wilder, he could fight AJ if he cares about his legacy, or he could fight Tyson Fury. Do you understand how ridiculous that sounds? Tyson Fury beat Klitschko, and Joshua beat Fury's version of Klitschko, the one coming off of a loss. So how the fuck is Wilder clearing the air on a controversial draw? How is that not legacy, but fighting AJ is legacy only just because he has the belts? Fury is definitely a legacy fight. But again, Eddie Hearn and Team Joshua operating out of desperation per usual. They're trying to spin it like the legacy is fighting AJ to try to put pressure. But Wilder can't win doing that, because if he goes and jumps ship and fights Joshua, people will say you duck Tyson Fury, period. So you might as well just clear the air. He was already easier to work with. You'll do better numbers in the second fight. You guys will make a lot of money together. And, give Joshua a taste of his own medicine, period. That's what Joshua's getting, a taste of his own medicine. That's what we need to make T-shirts. AJ, a taste of your own medicine. That's what they're getting. They played all these A-side games, and they overplayed their hand. It's that simple. You had people like Sugar Ray Leonard, Lennox Lewis, before Wilder Fury. They was telling Joshua, oh, hey, you gotta do something. You gotta take your career under your control and fight Wilder. All these guys are saying it. He didn't do it. He fought Povetkin. Oh, mandatories. I got mandatories. Unifications take precedence over all that. So don't come like now that Wilder and Fury had to link up to like try to overthrow you, and leverage the power because you were trying to keep all the power. You thought Fury was done. You thought he wouldn't, nobody cared about him anymore. You thought Wilder would have to fight Dominic Brazil. Now that they linked up and did good business together, now you're trying to put some pressure on them to skip over a controversial draw to instead, one of them, because you don't want to fight Fury, which Fury called months ago. He said, Joshua doesn't want to fight me. A message to the weightlifter. Right? But because it showed, even if Joshua really wants to fight Wilder now, it makes him look bad. Why would you wait for Tyson Fury to outbox Wilder to show you it could be done, and now you confident? That's horrible. That's horrible. You didn't have no urgency, no pep in your step. And now, even if you want to fight him, which I don't all the way believe, but even if you do want to fight him, it's still horrible. Still horrible because you waited for another person to outbox Wilder and show those vulnerabilities that other people hadn't shown to that degree. And then now you confident to fight him. So either way, he looks horrible because you let another man do your dirty work. It's that simple. You let another man do your dirty work. Tyson Fury showed you what is possible. Now, if you really even do want to fight him, which I don't know, you let a man, like Tyson Fury just put pressure on y'all. Like, damn, you let a 400-pound motherfucker lose weight in a year, take 2 sorry-ass tune-ups, and then come back and arguably outbox Deontay Wilder, at least, show vulnerabilities. And you up here looking like G.I. Joe and shit. Cobra, la 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 la. You up here looking like G.I. Joe, been active, in shape, power puncher. Tyson Fury's not even considered a huge puncher, and you let this man go at Wilder before you. Horrible, 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 horrible. How the fuck is a 400-pound man lose a Floyd Mayweather, 150 pounds, and don't even have the most power, and you let him have the balls to fight Wilder before you? And then now all of a sudden, because of what he did, because they have a controversial draw, whatever the situation, now all of a sudden you Brody and want to fight? That's horrible. Any way you slice it is horrible. Looks terrible. Looks terrible because you waited to, you let a guy with mental health issues lose 150 pounds in a year. Joshua ain't never been out of shape. He's always stayed in shape. He's always been more active than Tyson Fury has recently. He's clearly a harder puncher, and you let a guy who was like about to kill himself on some Kurt Cobain shit recover and bounce back from all of that, lose weight, be doubted, take weak tune-up fights. You just unified. How does Tyson Fury fight guys like Francisco Pianeta and have the confidence to fight Wilder? And Joshua just finished fighting Joseph Parker at the moment, in March, and he could have fought Wilder next. You just unified, and you didn't have enough, confidence to get it together and pull the trigger in the driver's seat. Fury made Wilder look bad. No, Fury made Joshua look bad. See, these dudes want to switch to logic. He said Fury made Wilder look bad. If he made Wilder look bad, he made Joshua look worse. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. If Fury made Wilder look bad and all this extra A's and shit, then he made Joshua look worse because he was out of shape. Joshua's always in shape. He was inactive. Joshua's been active as fuck. He was fighting Safari, Nicki Minaj ex-boyfriend Safari or some motherfucker that nobody knew. He was fighting Francisco Pianeta, Pina Colada or whatever. that nobody knew. And he still got around to Wilder before Joshua. He bounced from, to my knowledge, Joshua don't have no mental health issues. You know, he had mental health issues. To my knowledge, Joshua was not doing, hardcore drugs. He was doing hardcore drugs. So you let this, dude who was on the brink of like extinction fuck around and fight Wilder before you. Horrible. So if he made Wilder look bad, Wilder doesn't look bad because, see, these dudes be so weak. New media gonna tell you what it is. These dudes be so weak. They want to say Wilder look bad. Yeah, he got outboxed in rounds. Cool. But he still pulled the trigger and almost got that man out of there. But, this ain't about Wilder looking bad or Tyson Fury bad. The person that looks bad is AJ because they took a gamble. Fury gambled, ill preparation, long layoff to fight a massive puncher. Wilder took a gamble, a guy stylistically that was always going to give him problems, who's bigger than him, who outweighed him by 50 pounds. I don't consider that being exposed. How you exposed when, you're considered the sloppier boxer and you're outweighed by 50 pounds. So like I said before, you guys keep saying Wilder got exposed. You got exposed. Wilder fought how he always fought. No one expected Wilder to start looking like Pernell Whitaker overnight. You got exposed, my friend. Wilder didn't get exposed. Plus, like I said, the motherfucker weighing 209, fighting someone 260. Showed heart, pulled the trigger to make it close, made it a draw. Boom. You got exposed more than anyone because you expected something out of Wilder that he's never showed you. Wilder's never showed you that he's a better pure boxer than Tyson Fury, ever. Ever. So you got exposed for expecting something that simply he hasn't showed you. We've seen Wilder get outboxed and turn around. That's his style. That's what he has. That's what he, you gotta, and he's comfortable with that. You guys keep saying, oh, Wilder looked terrible. He looked bad. He looked like he always looked, to be honest. But, to a degree, Tyson Fury brought more of it out of it, but he's also a higher level skilled boxer than most heavyweights, and he's bigger framed, so of course he's going to bring it out and make it look worse than when Spilka was outboxing him, Gerald Washington. He carries more experience with a bigger frame, and he moves better. So you motherfuckers got exposed. I expected him to knock out Fury. Listen, who's a better boxer? Let's just play a truth game. In terms of boxing fundamentals, who has better boxing IQ and a better like fundamental style? Vladimir Klitschko or Deontay Wilder? You guys vote in the comment section. I'm bodying all you motherfuckers. I'm putting cases on all you bitches. New media, you can't fuck with it. Listen. Block there. Get him the fuck out of here. Anyway, I'm asking y'all a question. Who's a better fundamental boxer, Vladimir Klitschko or Deontay Wilder? Put your honest answer. Randy Ridley says Klitschko. Vote. Who's a better fundamental boxer? Not who do you like more or nothing like that. Who's a better fundamental boxer, Klitschko or Wilder? Vote. Please vote. Vote right now. I'm not seeing enough votes. Who is a better fundamental boxer? Not who do you root for, who do you like more, nothing. Okay, now you see how everyone's saying Klitschko? That's because he's an Olympic gold medalist and he is the better boxer. So how is it Wilder got exposed and Klitschko didn't? So Klitschko is a puncher, all the same. He's only an inch shorter than Deontay Wilder, and he weighs more. He weighs 250 something, 240 to 250 something, right? And he didn't knock out Tyson Fury. So everyone keeps saying I expected Tyson Fury to get knocked out by Wilder. Wilder isn't the classic boxer, and he's not weighing 240 to 250, and he did better than Klitschko. So who really got exposed? I'll wait. Wilder got a bronze medal last time I checked. Started boxing late. Klitschko got a gold medal and comes from a fight family. Who really got exposed? Klitschko hadn't lost in 10 years, and had very good names on his record. Y'all said Wilder got a bum squad resume. So who really got exposed? Kitty Tumbo, exactly. Klitschko was 245, Fury was 256, versus when Wilder fought him, Wilder was 209 the night of the fight. These motherfuckers can't fuck with me. You guys keep running off at the mouth with this exposed shit, but you let a bronze medalist, chicken leg, 209 cruiserweight weighing motherfucker from Alabama who started boxing late do better than the gold medalist who's an inch shorter than Wilder, doesn't have chicken legs, has a gold medal to a bronze medal, weighed 245, had a better resume, he didn't have a bum squad resume, has a great jab. So who got exposed? And who looked worse? Klitschko lost like damn near every round. He looked horrible. He didn't knock Fury into some Undertaker realm. Wilder did though. So who really got exposed? I'm out. Leave me the fuck alone.